In 2 Chronicles chapter 20, verse 2, it says, some people came and told Jehoshaphat, a vast army is coming against you. Basically, what happens is 3 different countries have banded together and have joined forces to march against the much smaller country that Jehoshaphat is leading. And so in verse 3, we see the first 3 words of verse 3, alarmed, Jehoshaphat resolved. And then verse 3 goes on to say, to inquire of the Lord. And he proclaimed a fast for all of Judah. So Judah is the smaller country that Jehoshaphat is leading. And he finds out that these 3 countries have banded together. They're marching against him. It is absolutely certain that without an extreme divine intervention, that they will be outnumbered, that this battle will be lost, that many people will be killed or taken captive, and that this is a losing fight. And so it's no wonder in verse 3 that we see Jehoshaphat, and the first word is alarmed, because he was absolutely alarmed. You know, when things are coming at us, maybe you didn't wake up today and you have a vast army coming against you, but maybe worry is assaulting you. Maybe anxiety is threatening to consume you. Maybe fear of the unknown is starting to nip away and eat away at the peace that you just recently had, but you're not feeling it right now. All of these things, it's just like armies coming against us. So it's no wonder that we would feel alarm, because that is a very natural feeling when things are coming against us. But I want you to look at Jehoshaphat's name. It's bookended in 2 realities. Alarmed, Jehoshaphat resolved. That word resolved on the other side of his name, that means he's already pre-decided what to do when things come against him. He already had a pattern in his life of turning to God in the small ways, so that when the big things came at him, he just followed the natural pattern, the rhythm he'd already established in his life of turning to the Lord. Alarmed, Jehoshaphat resolved. Alarmed, Jehoshaphat resolved to inquire of the Lord. And then it says that he proclaimed a fast for all of Judah. And it says then in verse 5, when Jehoshaphat stood up in the assembly of Judah and Jerusalem at the temple of the Lord in front of the courtyard, he starts praying to the Lord. And I want you to pay especially close attention to verse 12. Halfway through verse 12, he says, for we have no power to face this vast army that is attacking us. We do not know what to do, but our eyes are on you. When we're facing all that we're facing right now, when we're carrying the tremendous responsibility to be moms, or if you're a leader, to be a leader, you're going to hit points where you do not know what to do. And it is okay to just simply say, I feel like I have no power to face this vast thing that is attacking us. I do not know what to do, but my eyes are on you. Prayers to God release the power of God and the assurance of God that settles our heart. Well, back to 2 Chronicles chapter 20, after the man stands up in the assembly and reminds King Jehoshaphat and all of the people, do not be afraid or discouraged because of this vast army, for the battle is not yours, but God's. Jehoshaphat in verse 18 bows down with his face to the ground. And then when he gets back up, it says in verse 21, after consulting with the people, Jehoshaphat finally knows his battle strategy. He is going to send the worship leaders at the head of the army to sing praises to God. That's his battle strategy. And when I read this, I think that probably wouldn't be my battle strategy. I would probably go recruit the people with the biggest muscles and the fiercest weapons to be my front line of attack. But King Jehoshaphat knew when you release prayers and praises to God, you release the power of God. So he sent out at the head of his army a band of men singing. We find the song in verse 21, give thanks to the Lord, for his love endures forever. Verse 22, and as they begin to sing and praise, the Lord set ambushes in the hearts of the men in those three armies that had banded together and were marching against Jehoshaphat. And they started fighting amongst each other, so that by the time Jehoshaphat and his men crested the hill to look at this vast army they were so afraid of, there wasn't one man in the opposing army left. They had all been killed. And King Jehoshaphat and his army hadn't even lifted a weapon. It was their praises of God and their prayers to God that released the absolute power of God. And they walked in that. And that can be true of you as well.